Hello everyone, my name is Emily. Welcome back to Language Travel Adoptee. I am talking about how I am learning languages this summer, specifically with Arabic, Turkish, and what did I put? Maintenance languages. If you had watched my language goals 2025 about 6 months ago, I am definitely noticing I know that I'm going to have to readjust how I am getting to these goals, because even after such an intense study period with improving my Turkish, I know that I need to prioritize my energy and making sure that I am not burning out here, even though I love what I'm doing. So I'm here to share with you how I am constantly readjusting, reevaluating what I'm actually doing in my language learning, because it's integral to all of us. If we want to keep on hitting our goals, but also making sure to keep the learning process sustainable for us, whatever life circumstances we have. So I think I said for Turkish, I was learning Turkish at a school, and I was also learning by myself about 2 to 3 hours per day. It was a very intense process, and now that I have successfully passed the B2 exam for my school, I had already paid for C1, and so I enrolled in that, and currently I am not doing really any of what I did before for B2, because that was just very intense, and I'm already feeling the effects of being really tired from it. So I am taking an approach the rest of the summer to just study Turkish in a very laid back way. And by laid back, I mean that I still go to class. I've actually skipped maybe about 6 times, actually, if I'm being honest, just because some days I just felt so low on energy that I was like, I think it's okay, Emily, if you skip class. Even as a straight A student that I was in my college days and my high school days, I knew that it is okay and you don't have to feel guilty for skipping class if that's what you really need. So definitely laid back in that way, allowing myself to miss class for once. I'm not doing any conversation classes outside anymore, and I am not doing any sort of vocabulary review. I felt like after, if you saw in my other videos, acquiring over 1,000 words of vocabulary, both passive and active, that was a lot. And it really also set me up for being successful in C1 and not having to strain as much, fight through all of the textbook that I was given for C1. Just because, again, I had already laid that really, really good foundation for retaining that vocabulary last semester with B2. Now I am going to Malta for vacation. And yes, it is actually going to be a vacation. Sometimes I feel like when we are solo language learners, when we do have ambitious goals, it is easy to tell ourselves that yes, we are going to have a vacation, relax, and then we kind of fall back into our usual patterns of really working hard and working towards our goals, doing something. But I think actually during when I am in Malta, I am going to probably have just a 30-minute conversation in Turkish one time per week while I'm there. And in August, I'm probably just going to have maintenance classes, either 30 minutes to 1 hour per week with teachers on italki. And I have to show you guys, these are the books that I finally got from a bookstore in Turkey, and I'm overjoyed. I feel like the books that I could actually find when I was in the United States, just trying to learn Turkish by myself, they were all like very heavy self-development and just basically were not interesting for me. So I'm really excited to have, they're not traditional Turkish books, right? They're translations of books that I've wanted to read in English. But when I saw that there were Turkish translations, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can finally understand what they are saying, probably without a dictionary. Read novels in Turkish, which has been one of my all-time dreams, even as like 5 years ago when I thought it just wouldn't be possible for me in Turkish because it was just a really hard language for me. I am really excited to read these as nice summer reads on the beach and just keep some passive review enjoyment of the Turkish language in there, even as I am in Malta and even as I am going and traveling a little bit more in August. So I'll just pick up and read those novels whenever I feel like it. Now, what I'm really going to focus on is increasing my Arabic, especially for going to Jordan in September. In fact, this has already become a little bit more of a priority, even though I'm still enrolled in my Turkish class at the language school. I'm still going to be reading and reviewing in a pretty passive way books 1 and 2 of the Speaking Arabic series by Minerva. I also have a good friend here who also happens to be an Arabic teacher, and he has taught me a lot of really useful phrases and words that I just write down in my Samsung notes here on my phone. But I usually just like to, again, passively look through those and read in a voice out loud, if you can see, all of what he has given me here. So I'll plan to just do this passive review about 2 times per week. And then I still love using Mango Languages because I really need to build up some more of that simpler vocabulary in my Arabic before I go to Jordan. And hopefully I'll be able to get to book 3 around August after my vacation in Malta. Probably in my vacation in Malta, I will have just, again, a 30-minute class of 1 time per week for those 2 weeks that I am there. If I can do a little bit, maybe 15 minutes of Mango Languages on the weekends, then I will be happy with that. And I think I only have about 2 more units in Mango Languages anyways for Arabic, so I don't estimate I'll be doing a lot of it in August. I'll be moving on to more materials that I was talking about in other videos where I discuss my Arabic learning journey from lingualism and also finding more diverse ways to actually listen to Arabic through different podcasts and also through just different YouTube videos that I find and that I have also listed here in my resources video for Arabic. So my maintenance languages, how am I maintaining them throughout this summer? For Spanish, I am planning to just do about 30 minutes of conversation every 2 weeks. I've already built up a really strong foundation in Spanish, so I don't feel like I need to constantly keep it with me every single week, especially for output. I think for input, it is a lot easier to just find things and stumble upon things in my feed because I am subscribed to quite a few channels already in Spanish. And sometimes I just like to listen to the news daily with DW Español as well. With Italian, I have honestly been missing it a little bit more. And I think with such a heavy schedule with a language like Turkish, where I did feel uncomfortable a lot of the time practicing it, obviously that's the key to getting better. However, I really miss sometimes that familiarity with a language that I'm way more advanced in that I don't have to strain in order to comprehend sometimes. So I think for Italian, probably after I get back from Malta and I'm just traveling around a little bit more on my own for August, I'll be integrating more of the Italian advanced podcasts that I usually like to listen to probably a few times per week, just whenever I feel like it, because again, Arabic is going to be my main focus for the rest of the summer. I also give some lessons in German as well on italki as a teacher, so I feel like for me this is enough maintenance for that language too. And again, I subscribe to enough channels in German and I sometimes meet some other Germans in person where I definitely take the opportunity to talk with them in their language. So that is definitely kind of just a language on the side. I have thought about doing both a C2 in both Italian and German, again, to just kind of solidify learning of having learned, I guess, both of these languages in the past. But for now, they are really on the side so that, again, I can concentrate more on learning Arabic. And I am putting a complete pause on Mandarin Chinese, on dabbling in Korean and Portuguese, because again, I really want to prepare myself as much as possible for going to Jordan and staying. We are already pretty much halfway through the year, which is crazy. So I'd also love to know what you have planned for your language goals of this year and where you're on track to completing them, or if you felt that you've had to change some things around, whether that be goals or how you are approaching the goals, just like I have. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see each other next time.